Well, here we are. It is Sunday. We are getting ready to begin the week. This first real week of being on the regular schedule for all the little podcasts I got going on, which I've shaved down into two at the present time, uh, combining fake fiction with a bit of shush, please. And Wednesday will be number 4 in episode number 4 for FOR, um, Days of General Restlessness, the ongoing saga of insanity. And of course, that is Clumsy Hippo's morning serial, the Wednesday installment. And I'm here to introduce what's coming up next, because this will go out Friday for the Friday installment of Morning Serial as a trailer for next week, which will begin a new story after having finished Slumber Guard. So now what I got coming up next is actually a special request. I'm not going to tell you who from, but somebody I work very closely with on a daily basis, and so this is going to happen. This is a series of stories under the moniker of Charming Deviltries, and this is what my answer was to the article of there not being enough gay, good gay fiction, normal fiction, not like romance stories, particularly, but regular stories, that people, read all the time. Except, I can't do totally normal. I mentioned that before, and so I tried to interweave the meeting and continuing attempts to become a couple, which I drew some of the events out of my own personal relationship with my husband and how it began and things like that. But of course, not a lot of reality, because we did not encounter ghosts. I didn't get kidnapped to a parallel universe. We didn't become medieval fairy tale folk at one point. I could go on. We didn't make alien contact. We didn't share dreams. So these are all the kinds of things, though, that this couple is going through as they maneuver a new relationship and try to build a life together. And like I mentioned before, especially with Xanadu Supernova stories, I really love writing as if it's a season. I'm not a script, but stories in a season type format. And that's what this is going on here with Charming Deviltries. Because after finishing Slumber Guard, I couldn't, all 4 stories of it, I couldn't decide what I wanted to write. And I, as usual, made the rounds of things like horror, thriller, tragedy, love, whatever. I was really trying, in the middle of some really hard grieving at the time. It was leading me in the wrong direction. And so I wondered, could I write in the opposite direction? I had a hard time, trying to figure out how to do that for myself. So as always, a possible mystery story came up, but I still have to wait for a good enough idea. I'm convinced I'll never write a good mystery, because there's just very, very difficult for me to try to piece together in a way that I feel would be surprising and that, just a good tale whatsoever. Just structurally, it's gonna, it would be more detailed or more precise. Now, it had been quite a while since I wrote about love, so that was on the table. And then I was thinking about Agatha Christie's Tommy and Tuppence again. I think of them often. I love, some of my favorite characters of hers, and their books and stories chronicled a love story set against adventures of crime and intrigue. the meeting and stuff like that. And there'll be, a little homage to that in the first episode, but, nothing like an imitation. So the idea of using my own relationship with my partner in the same way appealed to me. So there are actual details of our life peppered throughout the stories, like in the first one being set in Knoxville, where we met, or, spoiler alert, my father's death. So without, mystery, I found myself leaning back on the tales of danger, which become more charming when balanced against a tale of enduring love. So, I'm doing, of course, individual stories that are varied adventures, but chronologically they will culminate into a bigger payoff in the last story of the quote-unquote season. This comes from Doctor Who, plain and simple. And each story is readable on its own, but they're better as a whole, with a light feeling of that season thing. Turns out I'm going to do everything. So let me first introduce the Charming Deviltries, Tales of Love and Danger, sort of like, just as an example, nothing like it, but just as an example, American Horror Story, Coven, Murder House, Asylum, called, all those, this particular, quote-unquote, again, season. Why don't we just assume the quotes are there every time I say it? Quote-unquote, oh, damn it. The season is just one under Tales of Love and Danger. That's, but it's, definitely Charming Deviltries. And Cheeks and the Commodore lead a perfectly normal life for couples, some might say. But they lie. The love they found in each other is strong enough, however, to keep their normal life alive in between incredulous encounters against unimaginable dangers. So first, I'm going to go through. Well, let me first of all let you know of the first story that's coming next Friday, and it's Love Knows Nothing, a charming thriller. And nobody expects danger from a drag queen. Trouble, definitely. After a straight man enters the bar, Cheeks the doorman finds himself discovering more about his employers than he wanted. Trying to distance himself from the information proves tricky. That's very basic. Gives away almost nothing. But it's going to continue on throughout the whole season with lots of. I'm just gonna zip through the story title names just as a tease before I go, because I don't have much more to say about next week. It's just that's it. I hope you like it. It's big diversion from Slumberguard. I'm trying to go around and show you different styles so you can see got a lot of different stuff going on. But anyway, so let's see. Episode 2 would be Knock Before You Go Out, a charming horror. And then number 3, Ghosts of the Living, a charming haunting. Number 4, The Identity Police, a charming kidnapping. Oh, yeah, the whole charming thing, Charming Deviltries, charming. That's because one of the main characters, who's based on my husband, last name is Charming. Okay. Number 5, In the Bottom of My Purse, a charming nightmare. Last Contact, a charming invasion. Fetch Me the Funeral Guns, a charming death. The Prince and the Charmer, featuring Cracknuckle, a charming fury tale. Number 9, In the Wrong Place, a charming conundrum. Number 10, Queen of Earth, a charming dead end. And that's part 1. That'll be my first time doing that. And then part 2 is number 11, Abdication Sensation, a charming beheading. Number 12, Does This Fire Make Me Look Fat, a charming killer. 13, Almost Alone, a charming anomaly. And wait a minute, I'm missing 2, I think. Yeah, I am. I can't remember what Number 14 is... Hold on one second. Just give me a second because I'm going to take a peek. And here it is. Wait a minute. Maybe I revised it. Okay, everything is okay until we get to number 9, which might be called Call of the Cruise Ship, A Charming Massacre. That is what I changed it to. Okay, so let's scrub everything after number 9. Number 10, Cockamamie Vacation, A Charming Monster. Number 11, Ticking Kindling, A Charming Disaster. Number 12, Imaginary Church, A Charming Misadventure. And then the season finale, number 13, Killer Rainbows, A Charming Mistake. And let me tell you, if you get into it at all, there is a huge cliffhanger at the end of the season. Huge, huge, huge. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. This is a little different. I've described it this way before, and I'm loosely describing it this way because I dare not even make a comparison to one of my favorite all-time authors, Dean Koontz. But think Heart to Heart on written by Dean Koontz. That's just kind of in a vague way how I can explain it without just meandering into babble. All right. Okay, so next week you've got Love Knows Nothing, a charming thriller coming, part 1. It is going to be 2 parts. And that would be it for this Friday's edition of Clumsy Hippo's Morning Cereal.